Hey guys, Crypto Sunday, and it's somehow been able to be a green week, even though Bitcoin is the pretty much the only coin that is in the green from the looks of it. So prices differing a little bit between this spreadsheet and CoinMarketCap and my portfolio tracking app, but it looks like Bitcoin is the only one in the green. This is saying 1.2% up, about 5,000. So with the S&P and Nasdaq both down, I see that as a nice positive. Looking at the CoinShares report, it was reasonably positive. They've changed from the bar chart to a line graph now on the chart, so it doesn't make it particularly helpful to see one individual week. But $758 million. Looks like we're going to get a better one tomorrow as well. Looking at the recent news, but yeah, 555 into Bitcoin and 205 million into Ethereum, which we haven't seen for quite a while. So that was good. Outflows again out of multi-asset, although it's tiny compared to AUM. Slight outflow out of Solana and inflows into XRP again. So this trend sort of continues on. And the SUI trend, this is, a few weeks in a row now. 9.3 million into SUI. It's quite a big total of the AUM. Obviously, someone's doing some marketing. And then slight inflow into Cardano. 5.8 million shorting Bitcoin. So good luck with that. And yeah, Chainlink 6 million into other coins as well. And by country, it's a little bit all over the place. 86 million into Germany. And then sort of smaller numbers out from Brazil, Canada, into Hong Kong and Australia. And yeah, sort of not a huge amount elsewhere. Looking at the recent week, things have really picked up quite a bit this week. Monday, sort of got a fairly across the board day. 667 million in total, but sort of reasonable inflows into ARK and Fidelity, not just BlackRock. And then sort of 3 days of mixed inflows from various ETFs, but entirely positive across the board. No outflows, sort of culminating in Thursday with 877 million into BlackRock. And then Friday was a BlackRock only inflow day, as we've had some in the past. Outflows out of ARK and Fidelity, and a bit more out of Grayscale, but mainly just into BlackRock. And they cannot have an outflow day, it seems, no matter what happens for certainly all of May. So that's pretty strong. And just looking at Ethereum, we're slowly but surely getting some reasonable numbers. It was having outflow days, sort of just as much as inflow days in early May, but has sort of somewhat flipped. We had sort of flat Wednesday, but got 110 million in on Thursday. We haven't sort of seen a triple figure day for a long while in Ethereum. And yeah, it's sort of largely BlackRock, although, yeah, Thursday was very, very odd. 43 million into the old Grayscale, 18 million into the new Grayscale, but that going into the old Grayscale does make me sort of think things are a bit weird. Guessing there's a lot of arbitrage, and I have been hearing there's a lot of arbitrage basis trade stuff going back into the Bitcoin funds, so these ETF flows aren't necessarily all bullish for the price. They could be sort of selling futures and be price neutral. I'm sure some of it is, just bullish Bitcoin, but yeah, maybe not sort of billions and billions that are going into them. But something we do have, of course, is the weekly MicroStrategy. Is 7,390 Bitcoin for 760 million. Yet again, it's, even with the last sort of few days pullback, it's $5,000, $4,500 below the current price. So, buying sort of at a reasonable time, at least, not sort of buying at a high and then it dropping 5 to 10,000 as we were sort of getting in late April, early May time. And yeah, price still under 70,000 average price, so that's pretty good. and yeah, they have 576,230. So a lot of people are saying they think they'll get to sort of 750,000 maybe by the end of the year, and God knows how much in the future. So that is a hell of a lot. 750,000 would push their average cost presumably more towards 85,000 maybe, I don't know, which is creating a lot of risk, and I certainly not sure I'd want to be holding all that much Bitcoin sort of for the next 3 or 4 years, say. I think we would want to take a reasonable amount of profit this cycle, and I'm certainly looking to do that. So Q1 Masari report for Solana. I did note in the did Metaplex and Radium that Q1 did include the Trump token. So some of these metrics you sort of have to take with a bit of a pinch of salt. Looking at the monthly metrics that they do have in here can be quite helpful. But yeah, some reasonable numbers in here for sure. Daily fee payers, so this is sort of seen as a better metric than daily average daily active users, because some people may just be logging into their wallet and logging out again and sort of checking the price and that sort of thing. That's not really too useful for the network. So people that are actually paying a fee and doing something on the network is sort of seen as more, daily actually active users doing something, and that's at 4 million, down a little bit from the 5.1 in Q4, but significantly up, sort of 1.9 million, 900k, 600k. It's way up. It's what is that, 8x from Q1 last year. So very, very nice. Average transaction fee came down slightly as well, but we'll check on the median fee, because a lot of this is just people paying up for meme coins and that sort of thing. Average active validators came down slightly, but not too much, and they use this chain GDP figure as well for sort of market cap of various projects being built on Solana. That's come up to 1.2 billion, so that's quite good. DeFi total value locked come down slightly. Look like stable coins taking a little bit of a hit, and some sort of DeFi taking a little bit of a hit, but it's still way up on Q1, Q2 last year, so that's pretty good. Daily DEX volume, decentralized exchange volume, up 40% from last quarter, so that's pretty strong. And well, yes, stable coins, when I say taking a hit, maybe taking a hit in the last month or two, but 12 billion compared to 5 billion in Q4, it's certainly rocketing up at the beginning of the year. Yeah, so this average daily decentralized exchange volume really gives you an idea of how much impact the Trump coin did have. $36 billion in volume on January the 18th during the launch, and sort of, reasonable spikes above the average for a few days afterwards, but it's really sort of trailed off and is sort of way below most of Q4 after that. So I guess we really need to see Q2 numbers to sort of really see where this is going, but we won't get those until guessing late July, early August time. And you'd sort of expect us to be hopefully well into the bull market by then. So yeah, we're not really going to see this data. You can sort of try and look on some of the free sites if you're not looking to sort of pay for any data like this. I wouldn't be, to be honest. But some of the free sites give you some weekly data and things, and you can sort of see how well the chain's doing. I tell a lie. The stablecoin drop was actually earlier, sort of a month or two ago. Has been picking up and is almost back to all-time highs, but certainly hasn't seen the growth that it was getting in first part of the year. But still pretty good. 12.5 billion. NFTs really sort of still down in the doldrums, which doesn't help me at all, because most of my Solana is tied up in NFTs. I kind of need either other coins to outperform now to help my crypto portfolio, or these NFTs to come back. Yeah, it's not looking ideal. February and March sort of well below, even pre-Trump. So yeah, not great. So I have noted some of the deep-in applications, decentralized physical infrastructure. I'm in Helium token, of course, and Hive Mapper. But you've got lots of stuff on here as well. Fuse, a car charging, sort of decentralized car charging protocol. Not really sure how that works. You've got GeodeNet as well, which is sort of very, very accurate GPS data, essentially. They're saying that's very useful for agricultural vehicles. They're using it to sort of track, automated combines and tractors and that sort of thing. So quite interesting if that's useful to them. You've got flight tracking data app with wing bits. So yeah, people always just saying it's nothing but speculation. I do kind of sort of point to things like this. It might be very small scale at the moment, but you do have some real world sort of usage. And obviously you have payments and sort of, remittance is an enormous market that people sort of spend an unnecessary amount on. You get sort of Indian workers working elsewhere in the world wanting to send money back to their families, and they sort of pay, 10% fee of whatever they're earning to people like MoneyGram and that sort of thing to send money back home, and they could do it in stable coins for 0.25%, 0.1%, whatever it ends up being, and that would sort of let them keep a lot of their money. So yeah, there is, and that's hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year, and obviously all sorts of other large scale payments from one country to another. Where they don't want to use the Swift system, it takes 2-3 days sometimes to clear. You can't really do a lot of the weekends, and yeah, it's just that's trillions and trillions in potential. Somebody wants to get it, or everyone wants to get it, but not everyone can. Do like to keep a look on network usage as well. So you've got vote transactions, which tend to sort of ignore. Non-vote transactions is sort of people using the network, and that's up 16%. Quarter on quarter, 95 million from 81, and is sort of relatively consistently up. Fee payers we noted before, and you have the transaction fees, just sort of making sure the network stays cheap. So as you noted, average transaction fee is at 4 cents, where it was sort of 1.3 cents in Q1 2024, but median transaction fee is sort of less, well, 0.15 of a cent, where it was 0.12 of a cent in Q1. So yeah, basically a lot of people are willing to sort of pay a bit more, for various sort of meme coin launches, NFT launches, and things that they want done straight away. But if you're happy to wait, sort of, it is literally like a few seconds rather than 1 second, or 5 to 10 seconds for your transaction to clear, then you pay, not even a tenth, like, a 30th of the price. And we were already only talking 4 cents. So a 30th of 4 cents, basically. This could be used for anything, and is very, very cheap. Still keeping an eye on Trueflation, starting to tick up, admittedly. We're sort of fairly happy with it, being sort of 1.5, around 1.5, under 1.5% through sort of April, thinking this was quite a way below the officially reported numbers. And yeah, as sort of ticked up quite a bit, now sitting at 2.07%, still below the official numbers. So don't know whether this is sort of leading, a leading indicator of inflation. We might see the official numbers continue to come down for a little bit, and then start to have a little bit of a spike up. But yeah, still around 2% is fine. I would say we're not getting the rapid rise in inflation that a lot of people seem to seem to be think we're getting. Or if I'm sure everyone's seen the charts of the split between Democrats and Republicans. The Joe Biden, sort of Kamala Harris fans are saying inflation's going to be 10% in the next year now, whereas Republicans are saying 1.2%. And sort of often you'll get these sort of average of those two reported as what the country thinks, and it's like, well, nobody in the country seems to think that. It's one says 10, one says 1. Nobody's actually saying 5. If you say the average is 5, it's kind of meaningless. Just looking on global liquidity as well, things looking up in the last week. Looks like this, I've got a few scales on here. So with the orange global liquidity line, you have to look at the far left, so this is in trillions of dollars of global liquidity, and basically we were almost touching 116, and now it's almost touching 117. So basically, around the world, we've gained $1 trillion in liquidity in the past week. So, as I always say, printy. Bitcoin, you can sort of see largely following this, but that's over a very short time period. We can sort of zoom out to the 4 hour and sort of come out a little bit, and yeah, you see a little bit more correlation between that. It sort of seems to lead, which a lot of people are coming out with these offset charts where they'll sort of fast forward the global liquidity, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, and sort of say that is predictive. Basically, they'll sort of project this move here from January to sort of March, April, May time, and say, that means June, July, August we should be going up. So we'll see, certainly. But yeah, looking good, sort of being at all-time highs. September time, it sort of went up to 113 trillion, and Bitcoin sort of followed, going up to 108. So if it's now at another 3 trillion on top of that, yeah, I can see, you can certainly see a case where we get 130, 140 sort of over the summer. And last but not least, of course, we have to celebrate Bitcoin Pizza Day. It's 15 years since Bitcoin Pizza Day on May the 22nd, so just gone. For those who don't know, this was sort of it may not have been the first, but it was widely celebrated as the first public transaction, basically, of Bitcoin. Laszlo basically put an ad out saying, would somebody like to buy him a couple of pizzas, and he would give them 10,000 Bitcoin. So obviously people always have a bit of a dig at him and say, oh yes, look, if you'd kept it until today, look how much it would be worth. But that's a little ridiculous. I mean, it was basically sort of an irrelevant tech exercise back in 2010. A lot of people don't really sort of note that he was sort of giving away a lot over the next year, and sort of, they're saying he spent / gave away 100,000 Bitcoin over the next year. So he obviously, 10,000 wasn't exactly his whole stash. He was mining mining on a laptop or whatever he was doing, and getting sort of a few hundred Bitcoin every 10 minutes maybe as sort of part of the blocks. So he did have an absolute ton of Bitcoin basically, and he was quite involved in the tech from the looks of it. He was sort of helping write the protocols that basically invented GPU mining to move on from CPU mining, and that sort of made the total hash rate explode up by 130,000% as people moved on from CPUs, and then we've gone to ASICs and that sort of thing. So he's had quite a significant sort of input on the tech basically, and yeah, it should be noted that he sort of had 100,000, maybe sort of more than 100,000 Bitcoin, and I think he has sort of came out and said since then, like, I'm fine, I made a lot of money, a hell of a lot of money, and just sort of want to go into the ether and be forgotten about basically. So looking at coins for the week, looks like we've just ticked down a little bit again. So I will be fair and report the gain as it currently is at sort of what is that? Well, 1,000, about 1,500 quid. So yeah, Bitcoin is properly the only coin in the green now, about 1.2%. Solana down 1.6, Ethereum down 3, Chainlink down 5.5, Helium down 1.6, Jito 1.9, Radium 6.1% down, Metaplex 13.4%, that's the underperformer for the week, and Honey 6.6% down. So yeah, everything's down to varying degrees. The Solana altcoins sort of having a little bit of a rough week, but I would say on a week these S&P and Nasdaq are both down. Staying relatively flat and only some down. Or only slightly down really is a little bit of a success. And obviously Bitcoin being up, being 60% Bitcoin does help in these times. So yeah, leave your thoughts in comments below. Let me know how you guys are doing and like and subscribe. See you soon.